Hey guys, how you doing? Here's a message for the white belts out there that are struggling on the mat at the moment. My advice is get in shape. Yeah, like when you're not on the mat, I probably wouldn't recommend getting on the mat and training more than 3 times a week as a beginner. I think that it takes time for your brain to kind of adjust and absorb the information that you're receiving and things like that. And if you're training more often than that, it can be kind of overwhelming. I know a lot of people, a lot of young guys especially, love to dive head on into it and train every day and stuff like that, but the other ones I always see get injured. The other ones I see after a couple of years always quit. They're kind of burnt out, they're kind of over it, they thought they'd be better than that. So I would suggest training like 2 or 3 days a week. On the other days, go out running, do some fitness work, go to the gym a little bit. You don't have to be massive. I always talk about this this triangle of fitness and flexibility and strength. And for jiu-jitsu, you kind of need to sit in the middle. You need a reasonable amount of flexibility, you need a reasonable amount of aerobic fitness, and you need a reasonable amount of strength. And if you kind of lack in one of those 3, or like, I mean, I love doing aerobic stuff. I could do it every day, all day. Like, my body's just designed for it. And which is odd because I started off as like a 100-kilo bodybuilder. But as I age, it takes so long to recover from weight training sessions, and they tend to kind of interrupt the rest of my training, that it's not my favorite thing to do. So I do like 2 exercises a day. And you know, like, that gets me by. You know, I do that like 4 or 5 days a week, 2 exercises a day, sometimes 3, nothing massive. And that just keeps me kind of near the middle of that triangle. So if you're struggling on the mat and jiu-jitsu is the only thing that you're doing, then I think that there's the opportunity for you to get a lot more enjoyment out of doing jiu-jitsu by being fitter, by being a little bit stronger, by eating better. That's a huge part. The most typical thing that I see is that, and this is particularly for guys, and I definitely felt it myself when I started, I don't like losing. I'm a competitive guy. I've got an ego like most. I've been really successful in all the other sports and martial arts that I did. And like, I was struggling emotionally and mentally trying to deal with the humility involved in learning this new art that was kicking my ass. And the average person who comes along, they're a bit out of shape. They're maybe 10 kilos, 15 kilos overweight. You know, they work a lot, they don't prioritize their health, and they jump on the mat. And one of the first important things that I think happens for the majority of people is they lose, you know. And for some, like, they can't deal with it and they just leave and stuff. But by far the majority of guys, or, you know, I'll just say guys, whether that includes women or not, whatever. I can't speak to how the average woman thinks, but interacting with a lot of them on the mat, then I have a decent idea. And I think for the most part, like, guys, people don't like losing. And so when you go to make decisions in the near future, like, maybe you habitually go to McDonald's on the way home from work or whatever. Well, now you go from work, you have a quick snack, hopefully something healthy, maybe not, and then you go train, and then you lose all night, and then on the way home you think about pulling into McDonald's, but then you're like, no, like, eating that crap food is heading towards losing, and I want to win. So maybe at that stage someone will just go, well, I'll go to Subway instead, because, like, maybe that's a little bit healthier, you know. Or, you know, after that, then they might stop in the supermarket and buy some vegetables and buy some lean steak and go home and cook it instead, you know, and not be so lazy. Or the next step after that is they know all this is going to happen after a few months, so they've done meal prep, right? And so they've prepared everything at home. They may have even cooked it in advance, days in advance or hours in advance, and then they can just drive home and heat up their meal or whatever and then have it and be happy. So I think that most white belts need to do more than just jiu-jitsu, for sure. I think that whether you swim, whether you run, whether you ride your bike, you don't have to have a gym membership as well. I've got like a couple of kettlebells and a couple of dumbbells at home, and that's about it, and that's all you need to like be reasonably strong. A few push-ups, a few squats with those, some kettlebell swings, this, that, and the other thing, and you're set. You know, you don't have to do too much and go too crazy. But definitely helping your diet get a lot healthier, like that's going to make a really big difference. The thing that I noticed maybe 10 years ago, longer than that, 15 years ago, I was dating a girl who was like, didn't like dairy or was allergic to it or something. So I went kind of dairy free for a while, and I found that that made a big difference to my cardiovascular health and fitness for sure. That was unexpected, but because I pretty much eat the same food all the time and don't change things very much, that small change, I felt that variable immediately, and I was less phlegmy and I just breathed better, felt fitter and stuff like that. So that might be something worth considering. I don't like doing anything to any sort of extreme. I try and, you know, limit sugar intake, although, you know, like I do need a lot of carbs because I train a lot. I get enough protein. Some days I have more, sometimes I have less. I don't get all fanatical over it and stuff like that. But that would be my advice, yeah? 2 or 3 times a week, start off twice a week, maybe do a third class after you've been on the mat for 6 months, and definitely take an interest in the fuel that you're putting in your body, and definitely do some other training on the other days. Anyway, that's my 10 cents. Go and enjoy. Bye.